What's up? I am at the game fair and I've just bumped into someone I've been trying to meet for a long time. Mr. Dominic.
Hello, Mr. Dusto. How are you doing?
Not too bad. So we are at the game fair and you've brought some books along.
I have indeed, yeah. I've bought a little selection of stuff really.
Got some flies off him as well. And I'm going to try and repeat some of the stuff that I read in your first book.
Yeah, now that I've offloaded some flies on you, yeah, well,
go give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, basically the point of me was just to show that it's, you know, there's fishing everywhere. You know, we're at a sort of Green Welly event where everyone's singing trout and salmon, but you can catch anything on the fly. This is kind of the message I've been trying to
We were out last night. There's a little lake right out the back here, and there was a couple of small fish up on the surface eating the bread. We're targeting carp on the fly. One of the lads had one as well, which was great. And we were getting some of the small little guys as well. They were coming off here and there, but they were little.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
still hooking them.
Most stillwaters in the whole country get roach or that sort of thing. And all you really need is some suitably small flies, you know, simple tackle. People have this idea that fly fishing is really fussy and complicated, but once you've got the cast, you know, you can go pretty much anywhere and get bites.
Well, I'm new to it, and when it was your book that I got, because I came from a course fishing background more so than a game background, I wanted to target them in a different way because I caught them, and some of the places I fish, they're big, they don't get big, so being able to target them in a way that you get a bit more sport out of it was something that I wanted to do. And I went on to internet, and then I saw your book, ordered it, and it's inspired me, and I think that's what's great about stuff like that. And guys, if you haven't got it, go out and get it. It's called
Fly Fishing for Course Fish, yeah.
Appropriately named.
Yeah, well, it kind of does what it says on the tin. Really. It's just like all the major species are there, like with the flies and stuff, and then a few oddballs as well. You know, some fairly eye-opening captures in there. You know,
and the photography is excellent in it as well, which I really like and really enjoy. Do you watch a lot of angling footage online or anything like that?
I have to be honest. I sort of most of the time would prefer to go fishing, but I take in a bit of it. I mean, we've got James from the Big Fish Off there. I've really enjoyed that series.
Right, okay. And what about things like, because there's a lot of YouTube channels.
Not the Big Fish Off, is it? What was it called? The Big Fish Earth.
I'll get it on Earth something waters. But anyway, it's really good.
That was a great bit of a breakthrough, really, because we're not exactly over blessed a lot of the time with coverage.
Yeah, I think
massive participation sport, but the coverage is not quite on the same level.
That's what's good about what we're trying to do with video battles, that we're trying to get people that actually fish to go out and make. Because the YouTube thing is empowering. We've got a place where we can do our own.
Exactly. I think we're in an era now. It's the same as fishing. People are not content with sitting there and being, passive consumers and watching someone else do it. Actually, the best way is to get out and do it yourself.
Yeah. But I learn a lot from going, because not everyone's got access to a mate that fly fishes or something like that. So I think with having places like YouTube to go in and check, that's how it's done again, and get off and go and do it. I think that's where it's
definitely. I mean, we sort of slag off the technology these days, but like when you think about it, when I was a kid, the only source of information about fishing a lot of the times, unless you were prepared to actually go to a library or bookshop, is my dad's collection of books which are fairly outdated. When you compare it today, diagrams that look like they're done in bad biro or whatever, and these days you can just ask Uncle Google whatever you like, can't you? It's dangerous because it's going to eventually probably put people like me out of business.
I don't think so.
I think there's space for both.
Yeah, there is.
Books are coming back a bit, certainly.
I'm personally a book person because I like to have. I grew up with magazines and things like that, and I like having books because I think you kind of give it more time than you would the internet. You kind of flick through things on the internet, whereas you kind of.
And it's like a record or something. That's just nice song. I'm so glad you say that. It's refreshing to hear that.
It is, because I think you look, when you sit down with a book, you're not sitting up like this with a keyboard in front of you. You're sitting back and you're relaxed and you're trying to take it all in. And I think it just kind of imprints itself a little stronger.
Well, Crooked Lines is the new one, and it's a bit of a tangent really. It's not a book that's going to tell you how to do X, Y or Z, but it's just a book of fantastic fishing stories. It's a book of all kinds of interesting tangents, whether it's fishing through the ice, fishing in the middle of Manhattan, Scottish bloke born with 6 fingers on each hand, tying the craziest flies you've ever seen. It's just,
but that's a
it's
massive,
just all the bits
it is a massive part of fishing. Is the stories we sat outside last night having a beer.
We did over a beer or 3.
We spoke about stories ourselves.
Fishing is such a rich sport. I mean, we tend to have the technical side of it and the big fish side of it kind of nailed, which is, nothing wrong with that. That's brilliant, but there's so many stories that kind of go missing, and characters, and the good thing about it is you don't get too bogged down. It's sort of just nice, pick up and read for sort of 5-10 minutes things, and there's some things that will make your eyes pop out of your head in there anyway. There's some bizarre things.
I'll have to hold you to that one.
Going squid fishing, like all these. I tried to resurrect some old methods as well. I tried things like plotting for eels, and there's all sorts of ice fishing.
How does that work?
It's like it's fairly ridiculous. It's when they used to catch them without hooks and actually used red worsted, wool.
Yeah, I've heard
because the
that.
eels have got fine teeth.
They can't get it out.
Yeah. So
did it work?
It's a pretty grisly job. You end up threading worms onto wool. I didn't use modern tackle, I used the proper old cane pole.
Right.
These guys used to do it, obviously, when the eels were a lot more prolific, but they'd literally find a little inlet on somewhere like the River Parrett in Somerset. You'd have your pole there, you'd feel the tug of the eel, and in one motion, they'd whip the eel out and flick it into a bucket, or on a good night, there's some of them used to use things like bathtubs to contain all these eels. But it's a real art form. I mean, I must have had about 12 bites and caught about 2 eels. But
wow.
But it's cool. Just silly things like that. Just looking at some of the history of the sport.
Without someone going around collecting all these stories and stuff, some of that stuff might go.
Some of it
might fall. There's not.
That's it. It's such a rich sport, and in a way, that's kind of always my compulsion. Like, unless somebody sort of captures this, it's just going to kind of disappear in the ether.
Everyone's got to take their part in trying to preserve the sport. Like, I'm very passionate about bringing younger generation into it, and stories like that is something that you never know what you've got to keep that stuff there.
I think probably just about everyone who's
history,
and just about anybody who's watching this will have some great stories. The sort of stories that I'd love to sort of capture. But I think we need more angling rights as well.
Yeah.
I think the blogging scene at the moment is fantastic. I think the blogs are great because it means, rather than sort of tunnel vision of angling, you get all kinds of interesting things going on.
Yeah.
And I think the blogging scene's been absolutely instrumental in things like the LRF scene.
I mean, a lot of things as well is like if media have control, it might go, that it gets streamed into what they're looking for all the time. Whereas at least if it's people off their own back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The titles, they're really important, but in a way they've got to play it fairly safe,
Yes.
Whereas as someone who's independent or a blogger, they can take more risks, they can go and turn over those stories that aren't, basically, constantly rewritten.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. So, try and support things like this, guys. Like get out and try and look for interesting things like that, because they are out there. There's a lot of people working really hard on blogs and books and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's if you want to know the real things about fishing, that's where it's at. And thank you so much for.
That's all right, Dusto. Anytime, my pleasure. Yeah.
And we might get out tonight and have a go off some of these flies. You can show me how they work. And
I think we'll have another crack before we leave. I mean, it's not every day you get to fish a big estate like this.
Yeah.
Normally we'd turn up and there'd probably be the Lord of the Manor coming down to
these new shotgun he's bought on
gun,
a game fair to test it on us.
Yeah, we'd have to make ourselves scarce, I think, mate. Yeah. Anyway, nice
one.
No worries.